Ghislaine Maxwell trial has begun, or did it begin? Because it was actually delayed a little bit yesterday. If you read the Miami Herald's account of all this, you go down about 12 paragraphs into the story. And what do you find? The trial got off to a bumpy start when several potential jurors couldn't be found. One of them forgot about the trial, and two others said they couldn't serve because of various issues. In one instance, a potential juror said her husband had just surprised her with a trip during the holidays that would interfere with her serving for the trial, which is expected to last 3 to 6 weeks. Do you understand what's going on here, folks? Do you all understand? None of them want to serve on this jury. That husband, he's a hero. He's trying to protect his wife. He says, get out. Do not be involved with anything. Once he found out what case it was and which one they were actually going to be serving on, he's like, we're skipping town. We're getting out of the country. We're getting as far away as possible. Do not serve on that jury. Don't even be anywhere near involved with anything about Epstein, Lady Epstein, any of this stuff. So go listen to how the trial has been covered. And actually, Inside Edition had a pretty good clip on it. Take a listen.
The sex trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell got underway today. The socialite is accused of grooming underage girls for her former boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein, who killed himself in prison in 2019. Maxwell's family claims she's being horribly mistreated in a jail that's been described as a hellhole.
With her head held high, a Jeffrey Epstein victim shows up at court for a historic day. The trial of Epstein's ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Sarah Ransom says she was repeatedly raped on Epstein's private Caribbean island getaway when she was 22. Ghislaine Maxwell is on trial for allegedly training and recruiting young women for Epstein's private harem. She denies all allegations. Inside Edition reporter Allison Hall was in the courtroom.
Ghislaine Maxwell was wearing a cream sweater and her dark hair was down to her shoulders with a white face mask while she listened intently to the prosecutors present to the jury. They told the jury that Ghislaine and Epstein were partners in crime, finding and grooming young teenage girls to be sexually abused.
Maxwell has spent the last 17 months in the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, once described as a hellhole and the target of protesters in 2019 who said there was no heat or power. Quite a downfall for the former socialite who counted Britain's Prince Andrew and former President Bill Clinton as her friends. She even attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding. When she was arrested in July last year, she was found living in secret in a hideaway mansion in New Hampshire. 59-year-old Maxwell claims she is enduring smelly toilets and has to eat moldy salad. Every 15 minutes at night, she has a flashlight shined in her eyes to make sure she doesn't commit suicide, as Epstein did. This photo of her with a black eye was released by her lawyer earlier this year. Her wealthy siblings have even complained to the United Nations that she's being subjected to degrading treatment. For Ghislaine Maxwell, is this culture shock?
There is no doubt it is the culture shock of her lifetime.
Justin Paperny served 18 months for securities fraud. He advises defendants about to go to prison.
The more she complains about that environment, the more it's going to feed those that say, good, I hope it gets even worse. It's a world that in her wildest dreams she never would have imagined.
Now, I want to be very clear about what's going on. I went on Charlie Kirk's podcast yesterday and talked about this. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial is an attempt to make you anti-interested. It is an anti-interest propaganda campaign, or there's a disinformation campaign around it. I don't mean the case itself, but be very careful about what we're talking about here. There's the Epstein network, and then there's Ghislaine Maxwell herself. They want you focused on Ghislaine Maxwell. They don't want you focused or asking any questions about that Epstein network and who was in that little black book. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say anything about this. They want Ghislaine Maxwell to be the first and last thing you hear about this. And her lawyers, absolute travesty. They're terrible. I'm telling you right now. She is on a quick and easy path to a conviction. The victims are coming up to testify. And Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers are attacking the victims. They're bickering about technicalities in their opening statement. Why? Because they have no actual defense. They have no actual evidence that she's innocent of these crimes. There was potentially a path forward, but this, no. Ghislaine, take the deal, name the names, save yourself, name the names of the Epstein network.
This is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.